Hi, Michael. Thank you so much for taking out the time to share your experience with other firm owners that might be in the same boat that you were just a few months ago. But before we dive into some questions that I have, I'd love it if you could share where you're at in the country and what do you focus on in your firm as far as the services that you sell?
Yeah, thanks so much, Michelle. Our firm is located here outside of Tampa,
Mhm.
and we provide services accounting, tax resolution, and wealth management.
Awesome. And what were you struggling with the most as it related to your sales process and your pricing before you started working with us?
So prior to joining the course, we had no sales structure, methodology, or really any sales plan.
Yeah.
Clients would come into the office, we talk to them, and say, let us know what you think. We'd send them an engagement letter. We'd never follow up.
Yep.
We really never really addressed, what their concerns were.
Yep.
And as a result, we would get maybe one or two new clients a year. And
Oh,
it was
wow.
rarely do we get new clients.
Yeah. So I'm sure that just getting one or two new clients a year was like frustrating for you. What were you feeling like back then before we started working together, where you decided that was the moment you needed to do something about it? How are you feeling inside and just like on a day-to-day basis?
So my wife and I started our practice 30 years ago. And it's gotten to the point, it was getting to the point where our methods, times had changed, but our methods had not changed. And the direction we were going was really unsustainable. We were chasing down receivables. We really weren't onboarding any new clients, and any clients that we've had for a long time, they were kind of in the driver's seat, and we were kind of along for the ride. And it's entirely my fault that I let it get to this position.
Yeah. And I think, Michael, there's a lot of firm owners that, have their firms 20, 30, 40 years, right? And feel the exact same way. Like the clients are in control, times have changed, but you haven't changed. What was that tipping point for you where you said, okay, I'm going to work with the abundant accountant. I'm going to join this 8-week sales mastery training because I can no longer keep going this way. What was that tipping point for you and your wife in the firm?
So the big tipping point was I'm going to be 60 in a couple months, and and we would like to pass the firm on to the next generation.
Yeah.
The revenues are very strong, and we could just sell the practice, but that's not really what my heart was. My son's in the School of Accountancy right now, hoping to become a CPA.
Awesome.
But if we did not change and have a repeatable uh, sales plan or methodology, he
Hmm.
was going to inherit just a real mess, and the same mess that we had, where he just
Right.
listened to clients bark out orders. I mean, I don't know how much longer he would have, or any of our staff would stick around for this.
Yeah. And did you have any initial skepticisms or fears that, what I would teach you and what you would learn from being here with the abundant accountant was going to actually work for you? I hear from a lot of firm owners like, well, I've watched all your videos, but is this going to work for me? I've been doing the same thing for 20, 30, or 40 years. How is this any different? I'd love it if you can share, Michael, what were some of your initial skepticisms or fears before you decided to jump all in and take your firm to another level?
Yeah, so my back was pretty much against the wall. If we didn't make a change, we were going to be forced into a change. So we kind of were proactive. So I came in with an optimistic spirit
Yeah.
that we could make a change. I didn't know what the change was,
Hmm.
but I knew something had to change us. We're going to be forced into it. I didn't want to be in that position.
How were you going to be forced to? Can you share what your backup against
Well,
all really meant?
yeah, it's going to be forced. We were going to have to either sell the practice,
Hmm.
because it really wasn't. It was growing, but the strain and the weight on the staff, of the branches of the staff,
Too
were
much.
not really sustainable. There's a lot of overtime, clients that were really kind of mean and taking advantage of us.
Yeah.
They kind of felt like they were the owners, and we were just kind of like, you know, the pool boy.
Yeah, and the team was, not good team morale, I take it.
Yeah, yeah, we've had staff leave because they felt like things were never going to change.
Mhm.
And before I heard that words out of anyone's mouth again, we really had to change.
Love it. Yeah. So you decided to take the leap and go all in and join us in our 8-week sales mastery course. I would love it, Michael, if you could share what have been some of your financial wins and how does the team feel now and how do you now feel as the leader? But share with us how much you've increased your revenue in just the last 2 months.
Yeah, so we joined the course in probably May,
Yeah,
and during that time we've been our mindset has really changed in that we don't really need to be a volume firm. We're doing everything on a volume basis,
yeah,
but really intentional, where we're kind of picking and choosing which clients we want to work for and what price we feel is a fair price. So what we were doing was kind of giving away a lot of services over the years, just because we felt like obligated and out of loyalty.
yeah,
But in the end, that really wasn't sustainable because our staff has really grown to become enrolled agents, licensed tax preparers, certified bookkeepers, and I couldn't really keep my staff, paying them what they need without really telling the clients what a fair price is, what the industry averages are.
yeah. And so you're no longer a volume firm. You're focused on the bigger picture. You've increased your prices. So how much additional revenue have you generated in just the last 2 months?
Yeah, so it's been upwards of $100,000 in new revenue. Um, when clients would drop off stuff that was just completely wrong,
Yep.
we would try to force it kind of like a seer stone to figure out what the heck their things
Yeah.
were and kind of come up with some better financials. But now we're not really going to put up with that. We're going to have to actually charge them for the work that we do.
Yes. And how do
And
you
it's
feel now with the
well
work that
the
you're doing and upwards of 100,000 additional revenue in your bank account? And how does your wife feel about all of this?
Yeah, yeah, my wife feels good about it and the staff feels good about it. When the receivables are really low, that
How
means the
much
money
in
in our
total
bank, we're not
receivables?
financing clients any longer.
How much in total receivables did you collect?
Well, when we started, it was $50,000, and right now it's pay before we even start the work, which I wouldn't have thought that would be possible. We got those receivables down to about, I don't know, about 10 grand for people we're kind of working on them, but we no longer carry receivables and finance clients.
Love it. I'm so happy for you. And I think a lot of firm owners, Michael, who are in your position, have the firm for 20, 30, 40 years, have sent invoices in the past, had receivables, didn't really think that that's a possible shift you could make, but it is, and you made it really quickly. What would you share with another firm owner that might have had their firm for the last 30 years? Their back is up against the wall right now, just like yours was. The team and people are quitting, they feel overworked, there's overtime, your clients are in the driver or their clients are in the driver's seat, and they don't want to be a free bank anymore. They don't want to do free work. What would you share to a firm owner now that also is really serious about making these changes in their firm, but also a little bit skeptical? Like, I've been doing this the same way for so long. Can I really do these changes? What would you say, Michael, to one of those firm owners where where you were just a few months ago?
Yeah, so I can understand someone's skepticism. It's very understandable. We've always put clients ahead of ourselves and our own needs.
Yeah.
But what was kind of neat was I kind of realized through the course of the program that I really didn't need as many clients as we had. It really wasn't like a trophy. Oh, we do 1,000 tax returns.
Yeah.
We can make even more money by doing half the number
Yeah.
and really have less stress on the staff, better quality clients, deeper relationships
Yeah.
with the clients that we do have, and able to use that time that we were doing, I don't know, $500 tax returns, use that time for higher value services for our clients.
Yeah. And and it's so true. And I think you are one of many firm owners that have made this shift that shows that it is possible to make all these changes. It is possible to have a happy team. It is possible to have a big bank account with a lot of extra cash in it and no longer be a bank to your clients. How has this success that you've built so far and made all these drastic changes in such a short amount of time, how has that improved your family, your relationships, and your quality of life?
Yeah, well, it's been giving me a lot more free time
Yeah,
for, my family than I probably ever had before.
that's
Now I can take a day or two off of work, which before we were so busy just kind of getting to run around with clients trying to help them, but
hmm
yet they could honestly care less. Like
yeah,
their burdens became my burdens, and I really can't work out. I can no longer do that, but it's given me a lot more free time and flexibility in my schedule.
I love that. And I would love it if you could share too, Michael, in addition to your freedom and more time with the family and more flexibility with your schedule, is there any other parts of working with us here at the Abundant Accountant or anything that you felt was unique and different than maybe working with other programs or certifications or things that you've done in your career? Like, how has working with us here at the Abundant Accountant been unique and different than other things that you have done to work on your, personal development and personal growth?
Yeah, so I belong to a few mastermind groups.
Mm,
However, this one was unique in this regard. It kind of gave me the confidence to implement change, not in me personally and in the firm.
yeah,
So I just needed. It sounds kind of weird. I almost needed permission
yeah,
to make these changes, and I felt like I was encouraged and strengthened by the group that we were with. That it was all right to make these changes,
it was.
and everything was going to be just fine. So that's what I felt, and I just really couldn't have got that anywhere else. That encouragement and really permission to make these kind of wholesale changes in the sales and client selection, figuring out which are the ideal clients of the firm. We were taking pretty much anyone who had money. That was our ideal client.
Not anymore. What would you share, Michael, with someone else who might be really serious about taking their firm to the next level? Maybe they're brand new, starting out, or maybe they're like you, where they've had their firm 20, 30, or even 40 years and are terrified to make these changes and have never had that kind of permission. What words of wisdom would you have with another firm owner that might be listening to this video right now that you wish you would have heard in one of these videos in the past?
Yeah, so just like in anything, you're never too old, or the firm's never too old for change.
Hmm.
And and change is often kind of like a new broom. It sweeps best.
Yeah,
So I wouldn't let fear grip your heart. I mean, I did grip my heart. Like I'm going to lose every client we ever had.
I know.
And then going through the numbers, I realized maybe that's not such a bad thing. Maybe just starting from scratch
And that
was
just
really the answer we were looking for.
you have
Just
an
keeping
extra
the
100
clients.
grand in your bank account.
Yeah. So now we got money for Christmas bonuses
Yes.
instead of an accounts receivable.
Yeah, I love that. Do you have anything else you would love to share with another firm owner that maybe I didn't ask you, but you feel compelled to share before we wrap up today?
Yeah. Well, it's been a really it's been a wonderful experience, to be a part of the group. They've offered me a lot of insights that I probably wouldn't have gained otherwise, or if I would have tried to come up with them on my own, it could have taken years to really look at what the composition of the firm is, the number of clients, what's our ideal client load for our firm. So I think we're in a good spot, and I think if you're thinking of a change, you're like, oh my gosh, we can't make these kind of changes. I would say it's possible to make changes
Yeah.
and improve your life, cash flow, and the future of the firm.
And your freedom, right? Now you got more free time. So I love that you're taking days off. And Michael, thank you so much for taking out the time to share your experience with other firm owners that might be considering wanting to work with us. So thank you.